Hey guys, I know you missed me, and this one is going to be a very interesting episode. We have the legendary passport bro, Auston Holleman, and I'm telling you, he's very adamant about men taking their talents overseas to find their wife. He is officially done with American women at the tender age of 23. Imagine! Imagine at 23 being done with dating in America already. He raves about the women in Brazil. He raves about the cooperation, the femininity that you get outside of the United States, and he encourages all men to get their passport because it's simply that bad over here. That's how bad it is. Get your passport and get going. That's what he recommends. So make sure you check out his content down below. And before you click off the video, just try him out. He makes some good points. Try him out. He's gonna come up with his YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to that. The whole nine. God bless you all.
Man, chicks keep flaking on me. Oh, let's go to the next one. But what if everybody's next? Wouldn't go with therapy. Oh, so
I'll tell you guys, I'm doing a video today.
the feminine straight man. You can be gay and be feminine. That's expected. They're gay. They're taking on the other gender's roles. But the man that's straight and feminine, like he's not gay, like he wouldn't sleep with a woman, but he's brainwashed. And
Let me say another thing. American women, the difference between them and the foreign women, I've said this before and I'm going to say it again because I didn't tell the story. American women, they think all they need is the cootie cat, right? Guys, if you are still dating in the United States, I'm going to say it again. You are being a fool. If you have the means to pick up and leave and expand your options.
Welcome back to another episode of Important Miscellaneous Talks. I'm your host, Glassfield Crossfield, and we are changing the world one podcast at a time. And today we have the International Ladies Man. Please introduce yourself.
I'm Auston Holleman. I'm in Dallas, Texas. You can find me on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all under Auston Holleman. I'm here to influence men that may be having relatable experiences to me that they don't have to keep continuing with the BS. They can go overseas because it's that bad out here.
That's your favorite quote, man. It's that bad out here, man.
It's that bad.
What was the final straw that made you like be completely done with dating in America?
Just a repetition of flakes. She tends like if you're out somewhere, grocery store, mall, sidewalk, I don't give a damn where you at. She send you a choosing signal, very strong choosing signal. You go over there, and it's a different story when you get there. And I'm like, I know I'm not crazy. I know that was more than just a typical smile. But overseas, that's not a question. There is no confusion on those things.
I definitely agree with that. Where it's like all the things we've been taught as men as like things that we assume to open the door for the approach. And sometimes they'd even give you a number, and then sometimes they'd even text you back. Sometimes they'll ask you for your number, your Instagram, and still won't even text you back. So it's weird. It's like, oh, we've been taught for so long, like all these signs of what a woman like is flirting with you, and then we go and approach them, and then it leads nowhere.
So I want to add on to that when you said that they'll ask you for their number. I cannot tell you how many chicks I've had come up to me, didn't even see them, come up to me, flirt in a very clear way. Like she's clearly flirting with you. You can't miss it. She says, "Here, take my number and call me." Never answers the phone. Never hear from her again. But she approached you and gave you her number. I don't get it.
Countless times. So
Countless.
what would you say that women flake a lot less overseas?
The flake rate has to be. I've never set plans with a woman and gotten flaked on. But the games that I experience here are at like a 10% rate. See, in the United States, those games in my experiences are going to be, and the dudes I know are going to be about 90% of the time you're going to be in some sort of BS game. Overseas, you're going to be the one playing the games because you're trying to date around and see your options. And those women are like, no, I want you with me. You can't talk to nobody else. So to them, you're going to be playing games. But yeah, it's just a different ball game. But it's all for what you're going over there for.
So have you seen these sort of games with men on all different types of levels, from men who don't have much going for themselves, from average men to men who have their things together?
Yeah, I would tell you I had less games when I had less goals for myself, though.
Hmm. You say you had less games when you had less going for yourself?
So I made a statement recently on my Twitter that whenever I had no bed frame and I was on an air mattress or just a mattress by itself in my apartment, that I had chicks that come over just to drop some top off. Now, I think maybe that was like January 2021. I finally put no, it wasn't that late. That was like April of 2020. I put a bed frame on there and furnished my whole apartment by the time October 2020 came around. It looked like I had my stuff put together when you came in the apartment. That's when the games came.
Interesting. Why do you think that is?
I've heard, and I think this is BS too. I've heard that those women are just intimidated, and we know that they ain't nothing, so they got to pretend like they. Usually the women. This is what the difference between the women in here and the foreign women. The women here get offended when you say, "What do you bring to the table?" You know why? Because they don't bring nothing to the table. They all they got is sex.
Mm,
So the foreign women they put their cards out all at once.
mm,
Whatever they can offer, you about to get it.
mm.
The thing with them is they not gonna give you that for 7 years. An American woman, she'll give the wrong dude all she's got 6 7 years, and then will tell other men that she's never doing that again. But really, that's your fault for wasting that much time. You got to be stupid to waste that much time. The foreign women, they'll do that for a month or two, and if you don't bite on it, okay, oh, she gonna give it to somebody else. But she not gonna say ain't nobody getting those treatments ever again.
Mm. So would you say that women overseas they've gone through less trauma and heartbreak because of that?
Uh, I would say yes. I haven't looked too much into that, but off assumption, I would say yes. But American women would say there's more trauma because domestic violence is going to be a lot more common over there in other countries as opposed to here.
Yes, very, very much so true. So what are some of the countries that you've traveled to?
So far, I've been to Brazil twice this year. I'm about to go to Colombia. I'm not gonna say the country because I got a guy that's he's a hater and he's trying to incite violence and let the people in the countries know that I'm going there before I get there. So I don't really want to say too much about, but I am going to Asia. I
Mm.
have been seeing the Asian women. I don't think I was gonna wait until next year. I don't think I can wait. I
Yeah,
think I had
I hear South Korea, Bali, what's another one? Thailand.
yeah,
Bali's in Indonesia. Yeah, Thailand I hear is very good as well.
Thailand. Yeah. Oh yeah.
So from your experiences, what have been some of the major differences between the women from America and overseas?
Hygiene number one.
Oof.
Games number two. Femininity is number three. Cooperation that ties into femininity, but I'm going to say that one's number four.
Wow. So when when you say hygiene, like you talking about like just below the belt or like everything from like armpits to the whole body?
For sure, below the belt.
Is that how all right, how often do you run into a woman who has a less than ideal smell vaginally?
Uh, in the United States, it's like 60% of the time. These chicks and women love to deflect and say, "Oh, you're dealing with chicks that are down here. They're not that attractive." No, these chicks are nines, eight and a halves, white teeth. The hair smells like leave-in conditioner, Victoria, Bath and Body Works. They all the way put together. You take the pants off, the whole room smell like.
Oh my goodness. Wow. So, in your opinion, what do you think has been the number one thing that has ruined dating in America? Not just for you, but just in its entirety.
So a lot of people like to blame it on social media.
Hmm.
Social media is in Brazil too. They don't have those problems. So
Mm,
I think it's a combination of social media and feminism.
interesting. So, what do you think are some of the issues with feminism?
Well, feminism started off as the equality thing. Like we just want to be equal to men. We want the right to vote. We want the right to own our own house, car, have a good job, equal pay.
Hmm.
This third wave feminism has evolved into we don't need a man. And honestly, I made this statement. It might sound a little crazy, but feminists are trying to end the human race in the United States. They want abortions. So tell me, how can you reproduce and have healthy families whenever the women want abortions? They're encouraging men to get vasectomies. I know you've heard that.
Mhm.
And they don't want to get married anymore. How can you reproduce?
Mm.
You can't get her pregnant, and if she gets pregnant, she gonna kill the baby. And if y'all, she don't even want to get y'all to get married. So it sounds like we in the last days.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like if if you don't want to be with a man, how can you continue the human race in general, right?
Yeah.
So, what have been some of your biggest critiques, like the haters?
It's more men than women, to be honest.
Interesting.
Yeah, more men than women.
And what are some of the things that they've been saying?
That I'm hurt. I need therapy. What else? I hate black women. When none of my videos are about black women.
How does it always come back to black women somehow?
Well, because they know that they're the most uncooperative. They're when we these issues that we do talk about, we know that they definitely fit in the box. So that's why they think we're attacking them. And really, I've never named a video black women. It's about American women in general.
Wow, that's I find that so interesting, man. You don't have to put it in the title, you don't have to mention them in the name, but the simple fact that you are black, they're going to bring up black women somehow, some way, no matter what you do.
Yeah.
That's insane, man. Wow. So, what would you say to some of the people that call you lame for going overseas and you don't have any game and you can't deal with the women here?
Well, those are just shaming tactics. They don't have a real argument. You don't know me enough to know if I have game or not. See, I don't have game. I don't know. I can't conform to let me get her number and wait 10 days to text her back. I don't have game. If that's what you're calling game, I don't have that. I don't play that. I need sex today,
Mm.
not 10 days later. Because then, if that's the case, I need to play with 10 different girls at the same time. I need to play the same game with 10 of them to be able to keep up with somebody every day.
Mm. And how old are you?
23.
And at what age did you start to come to some of these realizations?
In 2020, when I was 21, but I just in 2021, late 2021, about August, I had just made my mind up like I'm just gonna change my whole environment and go somewhere else.
Mm. Uh, so do you have any countries in mind of where you'd like to go, like to stay permanently?
Right now, I would love to stay in Brazil permanently, but I got to travel to at least 5 to 10 more countries to be sure because I don't want to make any permanent decisions. And I go to,
Mm.
let's say, the Philippines and I'm loving it there. So I need to travel at least to 10 countries first.
Is the cultural difference or the language barrier difficult for you to adjust at all?
I'm fluent in Portuguese, so I can. It's pretty good with me being in Brazil. But in Brazil, you're fine with just a translator for
Mm.
short term relationships. Nobody's gonna be long term with a translator.
Mm. So how does your approach or game change outside the US when talking to women?
Well, when you approach a woman in the United States, if she doesn't look at you crazy for flirting with her, you probably know what I mean. That you approach a woman and she acts like I said earlier, she sends you a choosing signal, and then when you get over there, she acts like you're some sort of rapist. You know, like that doesn't happen in Brazil. They know why you're in their face, approaching them, asking them how they doing. So in Brazil, it was so much of you could just walk up and say, "Hey, how are you doing?" And either she gonna bite on that or not. I mean, why else would a random stranger walk up to you and say that? I mean, yeah, they might just be asking that, but come on.
For real. So, do you have any tips for the average man to succeed with women in America?
No, because I people might say I'm above average looking, but I think my lifestyle is average. And hey, I was having a hard time. Like, it's not that I couldn't get women, but the women I was getting, did I really like them? So you do a lot of settling in the United States. The women that you, because Let me be honest with you. The women now, it's gotten so bad to the point where if a chick is a 7, she's off limits. She's off limits for the dudes that's $500,000 plus if she's a 7.
Even sixes, I would say.
Yeah.
I'm wow.
Yeah, so I can't really help the average man, but I am speaking to the average man by telling them that they can go overseas at least one time a year. You can go to Colombia for $800 for 9 days.
Wow. I need
Yeah.
to talk to you about that deal. Wow. So, would you say that you still prioritize being the best version of yourself? Because a lot of people are gonna say, "Well, you want to leave America because you just like you're lame, you can't handle it, you don't got game. You should be prioritizing game. You should be prioritizing, improving yourself so you can be the kind of man that these women would aspire to be with." So, would you say that you still prioritize being the best version of yourself?
You always have to be the best version of yourself anywhere you go because there's competition. Those chicks, yeah, they might not have as high standards when it comes to picking men, but you can't be just a bottom tier, wouldn't even get a double take from a woman thinking you can go to Brazil and just show out. You probably
Right.
still be paying.
Right. You can't just be like 500 pounds and just go to Brazil, right? And think you gonna win.
Yeah, no.
So, what would you say is the goal of all the content that you do?
My goal is to, like I said, if somebody's hearing my content and they can relate to these experiences, that's why when people say I'm bashing American women, it's not that I'm bashing. What I have to do in order to get my message across, I have to reminisce on things that I experienced from American women so that way those men can relate. And hey, if you can relate, I have a solution for you. Try to get your passport, go somewhere else to make sure you're not the problem. Because if I'm the problem and I go to another country and it's no problem, maybe I'm the problem in this society, but I'm not a problem everywhere. See, a serial killer won't win in Brazil or the United States. He's a problem everywhere. But a quote unquote called misogynist would not win in the United States. But hey, in Cambodia, you might.
They call you a misogynist?
Yeah, they call you a misogynist because you want a woman that cooperates. Cooperates means that you're working together.
Can can a man critique a woman in anything without being called the name?
No, well, that's all they got.
That's so insane to me. Like, and it's not like you even have like a brash delivery, or you're harsh in your delivery, or like you're like an Andrew Tate. Like, like you're not like you're like him. And it's like, even still with your delivery, even still without bashing, mentioning black women, it's still somehow you come back to misogyny. And any women who criticize men on the daily basis, and I would argue they're much more harsh of a critique than a lot of men. They don't get any name calls at all.
Well,
It's
that's because we live in a society where women can do nothing wrong.
wow. That's kind of insane to me. Would you ever would you ever want a wife and kid one day?
Yeah, just not the United States.
So you'd be willing to raise your kids outside the US primarily.
Yeah, I'm relocating.
Wow. Wow, so you really serious. So would you recommend this sort of lifestyle and this sort of route to your future son or daughter one day?
If I decide to permanently, which I think I am, reside in Brazil and raise a family there, I don't think they'll have the need for me to tell them that information because their society is not being destroyed, dating aspect wise. Well, I guess in every aspect. Uh, in Brazil, here, yeah, I would tell if I had a kid right now, I'd tell them everything I'm telling them now. But in Brazil, I don't feel the need to tell them that, hey, get your passport, you might need to relocate.
Mm, well then, Austin, that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for taking the
I
time
appreciate
to
it.
speak to me, man. Wow, you're inspirational, man.
Yeah.